And we've been talking a lot about toys and our Operation Santa Claus and toys for tots and all those things. And obviously, if you have small children, you're going to be giving a lot of toys. But there's some things to keep in mind as you shop for toys. And here to talk about that is Ellen Walston, who is the Injury Prevention Coordinator at the Eastern Carolina Injury Prevention Program at Vidant. And she was just telling me that she works on child injury prevention issues all year. Good morning, Ellen. How are you?
Good morning, Henry. Thank you
nice
so
to
much
see you. Yeah.
for allowing me to come and talk with you today.
Yeah. So when we're out there buying toys, there's some things we should keep in mind, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Tell
Absolutely.
us what the rules are.
Well, the biggest issue is we get so excited this time of year just looking at everything there is to buy. There's so many options, and it's really important to pay attention to those labels. There's a label on each toy that has an age-appropriate frame, and it will say not for a child under 3, or it may say for children 4 and up. So you really have to pay attention to those labels. And the biggest issue with those toys for the smaller children and why there is an age range is there are small parts, and that is definitely something that we see in our hospital with increased injuries this time of year, children choking on those smaller parts.
I was looking at your press release, and I was shocked to see that in 1 year, 262,000 children taken to the emergency room
Yes,
in this country
absolutely.
for problems that they've swallowed a toy or gotten hurt by a toy or something like that. That's
Yes.
staggering. So
It
this is
is.
not something people should take lightly.
No, absolutely not. And Henry, along those lines too, it's really difficult for families that have multiple children, because you may have a 4-year-old that is starting to get into Legos or board games that have smaller pieces, and then you've got the toddler that's very oral, and he's going to be putting everything
They put everything in
his
their mouth.
mouth. Exactly. So what our recommendation is for that is certainly we want children to play with supervision, having those parents there watching the smaller child, and then when they're finished, to put those toys away, up and away, and safely store them, so you don't have the risk of that younger child
Yeah.
putting something in their mouth.
You know, I noticed that the other day too. There was a story. I don't know, one of the news channels, one of the newscasts locally. There was a story about the amount of things that dogs will also swallow. It was like a
Absolutely.
dog that had swallowed like 23 pacifiers.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Stuff like that. So I mean,
Yes.
you gotta be cognizant of what you're laying around if you have small children or animals in the
Exactly,
house. Yeah.
exactly. And this time of year, too, we have so many special items out, the Christmas tree, ornaments, decorations. It's just even broader than toy safety, of being really cautious
Yeah,
for
yeah.
what you have in your house.
All right, very good. Now,
Absolutely.
I see you brought some things to
Yes,
talk about.
I
Tell us what
did.
you've got there, and,
So,
and describe it for
yes,
the radio audience.
absolutely.
Because the TV audience can see it, but obviously the radio audience won't be able to.
Right. The Toy Safety Association actually makes a small parts tester, and what this looks like is just a small cylinder where you can put parts in.
Yeah, let
Where
me
do I
see.
need
I'll
to
hold it
turn
over
it?
here.
Yes, great.
See if I can hold it right here. So you can see it looks like almost like a little test tube.
Yes, and you
Yeah.
can put items in there. That, again, is just to really replicate if that was something that was swallowed by a child. You wouldn't want anything to be able to fit in there because it could be in their windpipe. But one thing that we use, Henry, just that you have right in your house is a toilet roll. And it's a little bit
So
wider.
the inside of a
but
toilet roll, you can
yes.
just use that. And
and
now,
that's-
so what do you do? If
You're
you
just- if
you
it can fit in there,
if
then
it'll
it can fit in
there,
the
then
child.
It's too dangerous for a small child.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a small parts tester, but you can use
Right.
a toilet roll or
Where do you
what
get
the
this tester?
manufacturers. There's a website at the very bottom.
Oh, okay.
And I believe it's
It's from the Toy
Safety.
Industry Association.
The very
Oh, it's toyinfo.org.
Yes, and they will be happy to provide
Toyinfo.org.
those.
But you got this in your house. Just
Exactly.
use the toilet roll.
Exactly.
Toilet paper roll. You just take that, and if a toy will fit in there,
Too small.
and you can get a toy in there, then it's a problem.
Potential
Yeah.
hazard. Absolutely.
All right. What other
Absolutely.
tips do you have for us for safety for the
So
holidays?
we also are emphasizing, I know there are a lot of programs in town that have provided bicycles for children this time of year, and we think that's great. Any type of wheeled sports are great activities for children, whether it's scooters, skateboards. We just encourage families to make sure they're providing helmets for
Oh, yeah.
their children, because
Right,
we
right,
see
yeah.
lots of head injuries this time of year
Yeah.
as well. And even if they're just in their driveway, in their neighborhood, we really want them wearing those helmets. And it can be a bike helmet, which they're really cool, but a lot of kids like the multi-sport helmets, and they're just more of a flush fit, but they're really cool. And they come in all sizes, all colors, so we really encourage them to make sure they have
You know,
a helmet.
being my age, we never wore helmets. We never wore helmets. But you know, it's funny when I see my grandson hop on his bike, he won't get on it without wearing his helmet. I mean,
Absolutely.
this age group kind of gets that, but a lot of parents still aren't pushing it as much as they should.
Yes, and we
So
do
if you give a
encourage it.
bike, give a helmet, right?
Absolutely.
Make sure they got a helmet if you're going to give them a bicycle for Christmas.
Absolutely.
Make sure they've got one or give them a new one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything else?
One other item is there's a great website, recalls.gov, and that is from the Consumer Product Safety Commission, but they track all of the recalls for toys, and if parents are having any issues with broken parts or something that just doesn't seem to be well made, you can check recalls.gov, and that's a great way to just be in touch with some items that could be dangerous.
Great information. And of
you.
course, it's the time of year where, you know, we think about toys a lot and we're giving toys, but Vidant Health doing a lot to make sure that you're being safe this year and your kids are being safe. And you do not want to turn Christmas morning from Christmas joy to a trip to the ER, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Prevention is the key.
Yeah. Did we cover it all? Anything else you want to
I
mention?
think so. I think we covered the top tips.
Good.
And there was a dangerous toys list in the reflector back in November. And main thing with that, Henry, is anything pointy, like there was a sword, and even there was a Spider-Man, actually the Spider-Man drone, and they were concerned about the blades for potential eye injuries.
Oh, yeah.
So you do have to be cautious with some of the dangerous toys that may be out there. And
So
again, you
is
want
there a
them to have fun.
website that will that people can check to see, you know,
Yes.
is this toy safe? Should I, you know, has the manufacturer overlooked something here?
There is a website, Watch is World Against Toys Causing Harm, and they are the ones that unveil the top 10 list. And so if you just Google them, you can
Okay,
find that
great.
top 10 list
All right,
from
and
them.
I don't know, but would this other toyinfo.org, would they have some of that too, maybe?
Yes,
So
that would be a great.
toyinfo.org would be another good resource for you. All right, Ellen, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Henry.
Ellen Walston from Vidant Health, the get your title right, Injury Prevention Coordinator. And you said you had another title too.
Safe Kids, Pitt County.
Safe Kids,
Coordinator.
Pitt County, all
Yes.
from Vidant Health.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, Alan. Good to see you.
Thank